So now that you have your STL model loaded into the Fusion 360 slicer, how do you position it on the bed to get the best print? Well, that's what I'm going to show you in the next minute or so. So stick with me, let's jump into it. Welcome to this Fusion Minute by DIY3DTech.com. In the next minute or so, I'm going to show you how to orientate your STL model with inside the Fusion 360 slicer. As you can see, we have our STL model loaded into the slicer. We're working in additive mode and we're in the manufacturing space. We're going to cover out these three tools here under position, moving from right to left. The first tool, as we see here, is place parts on platform. If we go ahead and click that, you see it brings up a dialog box. There are three primary components within inside this dialog box, being type, which is either component or flat face. We're going to use component. Flat face would also work for this, but I think the most common one, at least I've been using, is component, so we're going to leave it as that. Selection is already selected, so I'm going to select my part. Now the other piece here is platform clearance. Platform clearance is how much space is going to be between my build platform and my part. As you can see here, my part is floating in the air. I'm going to leave this at 0, 0, and I'm going to click OK. You see it sets the part onto the build platform with inside the slicer. This is a very handy tool to get your part from being floating in the air to sitting assuredly on the bed. So handy little tool. The next one is going to be positioning. Now this isn't going to do much with this smaller part. So again, what happens is we pull up the dialog box, selection tool is selected, and we click this, and not much is going to happen as we click this, because if we go back up here, we look at what is the objective of this tool. It's to minimize the build height, and so what this does is actually seeks the part orientation to best fit it into the print envelope of your printer. This is very handy if you have a large object in reference to your printer's bed. This will seek to place the shortest axis against the vertical. So again, handy if you got a big part. For a smaller part, not that handy. The next biggest tool you're going to use is the move tool over here. So if I go ahead and I click the move tool, you'll see that the select is already pre-selected. So I select my object and boom, I've got my plane tools up here, and they work very much like they do in design view. Now, one of the things I will caution here is this arrow right here. It looks like it is the Y arrow while this one is the X arrow. Well, this is actually the Z arrow. So if I pull that, I actually go up. I've actually got to tip back to see my Y arrow. So again, I can move this back and forth. I can flip it around using the planes. So I can do all kinds of cool things. I can also replicate most of that over here, because notice that since I've turned it 5 degrees, my X angle is 5 degrees. If I want to go back, I can just hit that and I'm now back to flat. And again, just to kind of reiterate, my part is floating in the air. I can just simply go up here, and my part is pre-selected, and boom, I'm back down on the build plate. So very handy set of tools, very easy to orientate your part on the build platform of the slicer. Hopefully you found this handy. If you did, smash that thumbs up. Swag Shop's in the corner, subscribe's over there, and we'll see you in the next video where we do something else cool. Cheers.
Please click like below and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date on all of our projects.